أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعل عملي هذا خالصا لوجهك الكريم آمين يا رب العالمين. Welcome to my Arabic class, lesson number 6. As always, inshallah, we will start with grammar. Up till now in grammar we have been talking about the properties of ism, and we said ism is one of the types of words in Arabic. The others are fi'l and harf. About the properties, we said that ism has 4 properties. Every ism has a gender. It's either muzakkar or mu'annath. By default, we will consider an ism muzakkar. If it falls into one of the 6 categories that makes it mu'annath, only then we will say it is mu'annath. As far as adad is concerned, we said that ism can either be singular, mufrad, musanna, dual, or it can be jama. If it is a jama, a plural, it will either be jama muzakkar salim, jama muannath salim, or jama taksir. Then the third property of ism is whether it is definite or indefinite. There were 7 categories that made an ism definite. And the last property of ism was its status, its i'rab, its hala. Is it raf, nasb, or jar? To tell if an ism is raf, nasb, or jar, we first see if there is any ending. There are 6 endings that we look out for: ani, aini, ina, una, atun, atin. If the ism does not have any of these endings, then we can look for the haraka on the last letter and decide the status of the ism. And so now we come to something that is called flexibility. You can think of this as an extension of the status property of ism. When we were talking about status, we said that an ism can either be raf, nasb, or jar, and we will tell which status the ism is, what is the status of the ism, based on its ending, its last haraka, or if it has any of the 6 endings. Now we are learning that some asma, they may not give us any clue to their status. So based on whether an ism will let us know what is its status, or if an ism does not let us know, or if an ism sometimes lets us know and sometimes does not. Based on that, ism is divided into 3. This is not a property of ism, this is a reflection of a property of ism. This is called its flexibility. So an ism can either be mu'rab, or it can be mabni, or it can be ghair munsarif. A mu'rab ism is what we were trying to look at in the last grammar class. So if my ism is mu'rab, it will give me clue which will tell me what is the status of this ism. So it will either have an ending, one of the 6 endings, or it will have the haraka at the last letter that denotes I'm raf, or I'm nasb, or I'm jar. So that's a regular ism. That's a helpful ism, a flexible ism. The second type of ism is a mabni ism. So maybe my ism is not mu'rab. It does not want to give me any clue to its status. It might be mabni. What does that mean? A mabni ism is an inflexible ism. It does not change its ending no matter what its status might be. So the first thing I want to remember is every noun, as I said, has the property of status. It will be playing a role, so it will either be raf or nasb or jar. This mabni ism is just not showing me its status. It has a status, but it's not showing it. So its ending remains the same no matter what. And then there is a third type of ism, ghayru munsarif. And there is another term used for these asma, mamnu' min as-sarf, forbidden from changing. This ism is partially flexible. In some instances, it will give me a clue of its status, and in other instances, it will give me no clue what its status is. So again, this isn't a property of ism, it's a reflection of the status property of ism. Some ism will show us our status very clearly. we will be able to tell. Those will be the mu'rab ism. Some will never reveal their status. They are rigid, inflexible. They are the mabni. Some will sometimes show and sometimes not show. Those are the trickiest ones. These are the ghayru munsarif. So let's take a little deeper look into these types of ism. We don't need to study the mu'rab ism again because that's what we have been studying up till now in the status lesson last week. That it was the ism we were talking about. So if you want to see a mu'rab ism, we can go back and look at that lesson. The ending or the harak on the last letter gives us the clue what is the status of that ism. So that's an easy one, inshallah. The second is the mabni ism. This will be an ism which will never change its ending no matter what its status may be. Its ending will always remain the same. Luckily, there is a certain category. There's only 7 of these kinds of ism. So if we remember these categories, inshallah, we will be able to tell if the ism is mabni or not. Number 1. All the damair are mabni. Damair is the plural for the word damir. Damir means pronoun in English. And we talked about this a little bit, that in Arabic, a damir can either be attached, muttasil, or it can be detached, munfasil. We only looked at the detached pronoun, the munfasil, damir munfasil, and there were 14 of those. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. All of these 14 are mabni. A huwa, the word huwa will always be huwa with a fatha on the waw. Don't be confused by looking at the fatha and thinking this is in nasb status. You will never see huwu, huwi. So this fatha on the waw is not an indicator that this ism, huwa, is in nasb status. This is kind of, you can say, the spelling of the word. It never ever changes. So my point is that all damair are mabni. In addition to the detached pronouns, there are categories of attached pronouns which we have not looked at yet, but all of them also are mabni. The second category of ism that's mabni is asma'ul ishara. Asma'ul ishara are the pointing nouns, the nouns used to point at something. Hada, haulai, hadihi, haulai, dhalika, ulaika, tilka, ulaika. These are mabni. But there are some ism ishara that are mu'rab. These are the dual ones. So for instance, hadani, hadaini, hatani, hataini, dhanika, dhainika, tanika, tainika. So the dual version of an ism ishara is mu'rab. You can see that we have 2 options. Dhanika, dhainika. If you notice, the ani, aini ending is coming in there. Even though it's not at the end, it's in the middle, and there's a reason for that. But there is the ani and the aini. So for rough status, dhanika. For nasb or jar status, dhainika. Actually, the ism ishara, let's just talk about this inshallah, is actually dhal here. Dha. Dha is the ism ishara. Ani is showing me the status, rough, and kaf is for khitab. So if the speaker is talking to one person, he will be saying dhanika. Like the kaf is for khitab. Who is he talking to when he's pointing towards something? So it could have been dhanikum if he's talking to plural people. Even though this is not common, but it is a possibility. So the point to remember is this kaf is for khitab, is showing who is being addressed when you were pointing at something. The actual ism ishara is dha. Ani is showing me the status of the ism ishara. This is a bit in detail and we don't have to remember that right now, but if we just mentioned it in any case. So asma'ul ishara are mabni except their dual version, they are mu'rab. That was the second category of mabni ism. The third category of mabni ism are all the asma'ul mawsula. These we just looked at the table, we didn't study about them. So these again, they are mabni except their dual. So alladhi and alladhina, allati and allati are mabni. but the dual versions, alladhani, alladhaini, allatani, allataini, they are mu'rab. Again, you are seeing the ani, aini endings. These are mu'rab, but the other version, the singular and plural, they are mabni. The fourth category, asma'ul istifham are mabni. I have not mentioned all of them, but most of them are here. Man, aina, kaifa, mada, mata. These are asma, they are mabni. Asma'ul shart, again, these are only two of them, ma, man. Kaifa can be used as a asma'ul shart. These are also mabni. Then some dhuruf are mabni. If you remember, zarf is an adverb of time or place, and then some of them we are saying are mabni, and we have two examples here, amsi, which means yesterday, and haythu, which means wherever. These are mabni. You will always see a kasra on the scene in amsi. It does not mean this is in jar state. You will also always see a dhamma on haythu. It does not mean it is in raf status. The seventh category of mabni asma are words that end in an alif or an alif maqsura. Alif maqsura is like a ya without dots. Examples are Fransa, Dunya, Musa, Isa. These words are mabni. So we are talking about the flexibility of an ism, which means will the ism allow its ending to change, or will it never allow its ending to change, meaning its last letter or the end of the word, or will it sometimes allow it to change and sometimes not. Based on that, an ism can be mu'rab, it can be mabni, it can be ghayru munsarif. Mabni, there are 7 ways an ism is mabni. All the damair are mabni. Asma'ul ishara are mabni except the duals. Asma'ul mawsula are mabni except the duals. Asma'ul istifham are mabni. Asma'ul shart are mabni. Some dhuruf are mabni. And words that end in alif or alif maqsura are also mabni.